I've been seeing some information on the internet that a lot of foreigners are getting more and more interested in Nigerian films. And while I was watching this film, that thought came back into my head because I was like, if a foreigner watches this film, it is going to make them appreciate the African culture so much. Because as I was watching it, I got to know some things about the Yoruba culture that I did not know before. And it's something that was kind of enlightening. So I was thinking, if Americans or foreigners watch this film, they'll have that same appreciation for it. And it's honestly a thought that just made me smile when it came to mind. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In this video, I want to talk about House of Gar. House of Gar is a film by Bolanle Austin Peters, and Bolanle Austin Peters also directed Funmilayo and Sonkote, one film that I enjoyed thoroughly. And the fact that she was the one that directed this film was something that made me excited to want to check this film out. I actually did not know she was the one that directed it, but as I saw the opening credits, I saw BAP, and that's her logo, and I was like, wow, okay, this should be interesting. So I watched this film, and yes, I am torn about it. I am completely torn because on one hand, I loved a lot of things about it, but on the other hand, there's some things that did not sit well with me. That it just felt like I was being pulled in two directions. But let me just take it slow. One of the things I loved the most about this film was the story. I liked the story so much. It was a story that while it was happening, sometimes I thought I knew what was going to come next, but then something else just happens, and I'm like, oh wow, this is interesting. And that happened a number of times where I thought I knew what was going to happen. There's something completely different happened. So something that made me hooked and excited for the film and seeing what comes next. And that was one part of the story that I really appreciated. Plus, the story is a Yoruba story that was just explored so well. I like the fact that I've never said what the film is about. This is the synopsis of the movie according to IMDb. A ferocious and feared prime minister or kingmaker, or Bashorun as he was known in the film, becomes more powerful than the kings he enthroned. And he does everything he can to keep the power to himself. While I was watching this film, the fact that this man, this Bashorun, was constantly changing the kings. If one king does not do what he wants, he changes him and puts someone else there. That thing, it made me think of Game of Thrones because Game of Thrones had a similar kind of story. If you watch Game of Thrones, when Joffrey was the king, people did not like that Joffrey was the king, and they did something, they caused his death, and they put someone else in his place and become king. And that thing, it just made me think about Game of Thrones, and so something that made me appreciate the story. And the things that this man, this Basharun, does to keep power, he goes to different lengths to keep his power. He does some very, very despicable things to keep his power. And seeing the way he was exploring it and going through all that was something that just blew my mind, and I liked seeing. And that's one of the reasons why the story worked so well with me. But as much as the story worked, one of the things that I did not like is the filmmaking around it. Because first of all, the music that was used did not capture the feel of that world. I felt like they should have used like an ancestral sound, like a sound that has gong gong. For people that don't know, gong gong is this drum that Yorubas use. Those kinds of sound, mixed it together with all those ancestral sounds to give a kind of music to it. But it felt like they were using Western music for the scenes, and it did not just capture it as much as I'd have liked. So the music of it was something that just left me down because if the music had been much different, the film would have banged so hard. Imagine listening to the gong gong or some kind of different sound expressing or portraying the things that are happening in this film. It would have just been so good to me. Another thing I did not like was like I said, the filmmaking, but this time the way they used the camera. Because sometimes I felt like the camera was not positioned in the right way. Sometimes some of the characters were like out of frame, and sometimes the camera was not focusing on the person that you needed to pass this information with. Like for instance, I don't want to give spoilers, but there was a scene where something happened to a character. We as the audience, you already know that information that is about to be passed. But one of the characters that that information affects, the character does not know yet. So, in my own opinion, I feel like they should have put the camera on the character's face because since we already know the information, there's no point in seeing all the other characters except the character that the news actually affects. So if the camera had been positioned facing that character, that moment would have hit much harder because we'll be seeing this information, we'll be getting this information through this character's POV. But it just did it in a way that did not hit as much as it should have. And there's some other issues with the camera like that that just did not sit well with me because I feel like the camera work, the direction should have been done so much better. Because this film had the potential, it has the story, it has the actors. I mean, just complement it with fantastic filmmaking, and this film would have just knocked it out of the park for me. Another thing I did not like about this film was the narration. I can't tell you how much narration drives me crazy. I can understand narration that maybe adds something to the story, But when the narration is just done in a way that does not add anything to the story, like when the narration is telling you what you are seeing on the screen, that is the worst use of narration. Because the filmmakers are like, they don't, maybe they think that you don't understand what you are saying, so they just narrate it so that you understand. And it's very, very patronizing, it's very, very annoying that I am saying this thing. Why the fuck are you still telling me? Just shut the fuck up and let me watch what I am watching. But the narration just keeps coming and does not add anything in particular to the story. So it's something that could have easily been cut out and would not affect the filmmaking. But it was there, and honestly, it affected the outcome of the film for me. But as much as I had so many issues with this film, maybe not so many issues, but I had issues with this film, I still also enjoyed the story so much, and I enjoyed some other things with it. For instance, the characters were very, very interesting characters. Maybe not all of the characters, but the main characters basically, they were very interesting characters. They seemed like real people, even though they might be kind of larger than life, but they felt like real people going through these situations. And it was something that I really appreciated with the story. And I can't talk about the characters without talking about the actors that brought them to life. The performances in this film were fantastic. From actors like Femi Branch as the main character, as Guy himself. Wow, his performance was electrical. He brought so much to this character. He embodied this character and completely disappeared into the role. Like, for once, I did not see Femi Branch. It was so amazing to me that the man just portrayed his character so, so brilliantly and delivered a fantastic performance. Another person I really liked in this film was Funke Akindele. And the main reason why I like Funke Akindele in this film was because it has been so long that I've seen Funke Akindele in a role like this. Nowadays, she does films where her character is in a modern world, modern setting character. But in this character, she's in a village kind of setting, and she adds some kind of accent, she talks some kind of way, and it was just brilliant and beautiful to watch. And I just, yes, this woman is a legend for a reason, and her performance in this film was fantastic. Another person that I really liked in this film was Micah Folari. Micah Folari has been in a lot of things lately, and this man, I feel like he's one of the trailblazers of our time because he gives fantastic performances. And the thing that makes it so good is that in all the films he's playing, those characters are different characters. They are different people, and you can see in it that they are not the same thing. Like the way he plays those characters, he plays them separately because they are different people, and that's something I just appreciate with Mike Folari's performances, and his performance in this film just brilliant. And because those are the people I've just mentioned, doesn't mean other performances weren't good. Other actors gave good performances, but these guys, Femi Branch, Funke Akindele, and Micah Folari, they're the ones that stood out to me. I just have to give them a special shout out. And the dialogue in this film, man, oh wow, it was brilliant to listen to. I think one of the things I love the most about all these kind of films, all these kind of movies that are set in like the 17th century Yoruba states is the dialogue and the way they use words. The way they use their words is so beautiful. Like they'll say something that you're just like, wow, wow. Like you listen to what they say and you have to ponder on it to kind of get the meaning of what they are saying. They don't say things like they don't say things how it is. They use proverbs, they use figures of speech to talk, and it's just so enchanting to listen to and adds so much to the dialogues and to the setting of the film and to everything that is being portrayed. It adds so much to it, and the dialogue here was beautiful. Not just the dialogue, the accents they use, the way they talk. Like it has been long I've heard people talk like this because I don't think people still talk like that. Like they talk in a very, very interesting way that you know that that's how they talked back in those days. And it was something that just added so much to this film. And I noticed something in this film. If you watch The Woman King, there was a reference. I don't know, maybe they set out to reference The Woman King. Not that they actually referenced it, but the city that was used in The Woman King, Dahomey, they showed that place in this film and they showed some characters, some of the women warriors in that land. And it was something that when I saw just took me back to the Woman King and just made me appreciate that Easter egg. They might not have meant it like that, but I saw it like that and I thought it was a very good Easter egg basically. Overall, this film, like I said in the beginning, it pulled me in both ways. I loved so many things about it, but I did not like some other things about it. So something that just made me so conflicted. I enjoyed the storytelling, but the filmmaking surrounding it could have been much better. Aside from that, this film delivered on some fronts. So have you seen House of Gar? What do you think about it? Comment below and let me know. And if this is your first time on my channel, please subscribe to my channel for more contents like this. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Cheers.